All right, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry, I haven't filmed in a few days. Feeling a little under the weather. Don't really know what it is, but I mean, it's not like no fever or anything like that. But you can hear it in my voice. My voice is pretty weak right now. It's been quite the recovery, like from losing my voice, which is why I didn't film anything. It's been quite the recovery to my voice coming back to even where it is now. Again, I'm shooting today here in the wood shop. You all know about that. Excuse me. I was just building a dresser out here, working, and I figured I wanted to shoot a quick video while I can and go over a few things that have kind of been in the news this week and last week. I'm a little behind. So based on my notes, these are notes that I was taking last week that I want to, touch on today. First, let's go over the price of fuel here in New Jersey. Diesel is kind of like leveled off. It's $4.95 a gallon right now. So it still costs me basically $150 to fill my tank for, almost twice a week for work. So that's that. The price of regular gas has dropped down to about $4.10, I guess, $4.15 maybe. It's kind of along the lines of that whole 4th of July 16-cent savings because hot dogs were cheaper or some shit, that the administration were trying to sell us on at the time. So that's where we are with the price of fuel. I think they just kind of I don't know. I guess if you're watching this and doing the ins and outs of it, like Saudi Arabia, they don't give a shit what we want, what we need. If we need more fuel, more oil pumped, they won't even answer Biden's call. Maduro from Venezuela basically told them to get lost. And Iran they're kind of playing the role, but they haven't really committed to anything. So I don't really think that any of these Middle East or any of these other oil-producing countries really care about our needs. Be nice if we could become energy independent again, like we were, in January of 2020. On January 5th of 2020, actually. On January 6th of 2020, right? Is it 2020? No, maybe it's 2021. Sorry. January 5th of, no, it's 2020. Yeah. Whatever day that Biden got inaugurated, when his first executive order was to shut down that Keystone pipeline, we were no longer basically energy independent. With that said, all over the news for the last 10 days or 8 days, propaganda to support the war effort. They're hitting us hard, man, from every angle. Our masters, that's what I call them, our masters, they really want us on board this Ukraine effort. They're like, the news media is showing us all the worst of the worst. Schools getting hit, hospitals getting hit. Russia's, using tactics that are not legal in war, whatever the hell that means. And they're trying to sell us because they want us involved. If you can get the American people to stand behind a war effort, all of a sudden, those money print machines can turn right back on and they can extract more wealth from us, because that's what this whole game is about. This game is not about the people of Ukraine and whether or not there's an event happening there. Our masters don't care about that. They don't care about the people of Ukraine. They don't even care about us, But they look at it as an opportunity, as that governor said, every crisis presents or can be turned into a great opportunity. Or never let a good crisis go to waste, right? That's their word that they use. Never let a good crisis. So you got a crisis in Ukraine right now, and they're trying to milk this thing as much as they can. They can get them money machines to turn back on and start printing it. Then you can start funneling your money out to all these giant weapons corporations that, all of our politicians sit on the board of directors of these companies, and their stocks will go through the roof, because they got to make more planes and more helicopters and more tanks and more armored personnel carriers and more bombs and more guns and more whatever, And so the rich will continue to get richer while us tax cattle sit back here and basically fund it, working our asses off every day out here. And for what? Just so that we can pay taxes so that they can vote on sending $20 billion to Ukraine in financial aid, it's ridiculous. But any American, did one American citizen get to vote on whether or not we were on board with sending the money that we fund the government with over to the Ukraine? Seriously, anybody. But if this gets out there and people see me, see this YouTube video and people start talking about it, what am I going to be? I'm going to be a domestic terrorist because I'm like anti-war effort, anti-defend Ukraine, anti-administration, right? So they'll just be like, this dude here, yeah, he's a problem. He's a dissident. We gotta get control of him. And then you might, as we talk about them milking us tax cattle for all that we're worth, let's talk about how they're going to do it moving forward, what the future is going to bring, And I'll show you an example of how this worked. But there's this thing that I keep hearing, it's called the ESG. It's your environmental social governance. That's the acronym, is ESG. And what that means is eventually you're going to have a rating, almost like a credit score, associated with your ESG, it's going to be your ESG score. It's going to be what kind of impact are you on the environment? Me, I drive a diesel truck, and all the cars in my household are gasoline burning. I got no electric vehicles, right? So my energy or my environmental thing, I don't have solar panels on my roof either, right? So my environmental impact is going to be a bad score for me. So I don't exactly know the numbers yet, but social means they're going to look at your social media, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your interactions with people in general. How do you interact? Are you a bully? Are you homophobic? Are you anti-trans? Or, whatever you would be, Do you feel like that man that just won the women's swimming meet deserves the title? Me, I do not. He's a man. He's got testosterone. He's got a set of balls. If he's swimming against real 100% biological women, he's got an advantage. It shows you his ranking, right? What was he? I know I'm supposed to call him she. So you can see in my social score, it's going to be low as well. So environmental, bad. Social, bad. Governance. Governance, I think, is going to be more about they're going to look at your taxes, whether you've ever had any problems behind on taxes, if you owe people money, blah, blah, blah. And I also think that they're going to use it to as I said, I would be considered a domestic terrorist. That's part of the governance part. They're going to be 1 through 10 in my environmental. According to the ESG score, I'm probably going to be a 3. Social, based on my belief system and my values and the things I think that are right or wrong in this, social media world and this cancel culture and all that. Probably same thing, probably a 3, maybe a 4 at best, And the governance thing, yeah, I'm without a doubt going to be considered a domestic terrorist. I'll be on a list, I'm sure, especially if I keep making these videos. But whatever, I'm in it now. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to go. And I hope you come along for the journey with me, So let's talk about what they can do with that ESG score once this whole system rolls out, because all of the giant corporations are going to be involved in this. They're going to all they also have ESG scores. So that's a big one too. You know, if you want to do business in America, you're going to have a good ESG score, or they're not going to let you do business. Well, I guess if you're a large enough corporation, they'll probably leave you alone. But, you know, I'm saying smaller companies that produce things, yeah, you're gonna be at the mercy of the people who are judging your ESG score on whether or not you can do business here. Again, that's what it all seems like. It seems like this is all about bankrupting the middle class, right? Because which doesn't make any sense to me, because where are they going to extract the money from to fund the government if they wipe out the middle class? Unless they're just going to continue to print money, I guess. But what can they do with this ESG thing once this rolls out? You know, for example, in let's just say 2 years from now, this whole thing is in the works, right? And also, so you know, it's kind of like that social credit score thing that China has as well, with facial recognition and stuff like that. So in a couple of years, when this ESG thing's in place, they're going to look at a person like me and they're going to be like, oh, okay, so Paul here, he's got a terrible ESG score. He's not good for the environment. He's not good for social aspects of the world, and we see him as a dissident and like a domestic terrorist. You know, he's got some anti-presidential rhetoric and whatnot that he's constantly spewing. So, you know, his ESG score is pretty low. So what does that mean for me? Well, that means that I want to go to the bank because my construction business is growing, and I want to borrow money. Well, the bank's going to look at my ESG score, and they're going to say, I'm sorry, Paul. Yeah, you have good credit and all, but your ESG score is low. We're not going to be able to lend you any money. So you can't expand your business anymore. Let's just say that I decide I want to go on vacation and jump on a cruise. And I go try to book a cruise with Carnival Cruises or one of the cruise lines, Norwegian or whatever. They're going to be like, okay, well, your ESG score here, it's no good. It says that we're not going to be able to allow you on the boat. You're not going to be able to leave the country, you know? The government could probably use your ESG score, prevent you from getting a passport, prevent you maybe from renewing your driver's license. I mean, it all depends on because it's all going to be digital. It's all going to be online. And they're going to be we're going to be being judged, you know, based on this ESG score. And anything that's online that anybody can monitor is what they're going to do. They're going to be able to just, you know, turn it off, basically, you know. It's going to be the exact thing that they just did in Canada with the trucker protest. That was like a turning point, if you will, for this whole program. We should all be looking at that and be concerned, because they didn't like the trucker protest. They felt it was a domestic terrorist event. So they seized the GoFundMe. You know, there's $10 million in that GoFundMe. They seized that money. The government took that money, and they decided that they could redistribute that money to whatever they felt like, right? And then the citizens of Canada who were found out to be helping and feeding and contributing to the GoFundMe and whatnot to this trucker protest, they seized their bank accounts. That, my friends, is this ESG thing in real time. The bank was able to, or not the bank, the government of Canada, Trudeau, was able to roll out a emergency orders thing and then turn around and seize all this money and stuff. What they did was they seized the GoFundMe money and redistributed it. And then they seized the bank accounts and the credit of people that were involved in this whole process. And they were like, okay, you no longer have access to your money. You can't live like a normal person anymore. Unless you what? Back down? That's what that was. That's 100% where we're going with this ESG score thing. You know, mark my words, heed my warning. But if I were you, I'd start either prepping to be like an off-grid person, because that's going to be your only two choices. You're going to have to be off-grid with nothing, no credit, no whatever, or if you decide to try to be part of the mainstream, you're gonna have to like you're gonna have to buy in and play the game that they want the game played. So, and you can see what they did in Russia right now. I'm not saying that, of course, I'm not saying that Russia is right in any of this. They shouldn't be invading. They shouldn't be invading a smaller country called Ukraine that sits next to a larger country, Russia. And Russia's invading Ukraine, and that's bad. Yeah, you get it. If you get the joke, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, what happened? They basically told all of these large corporations, McDonald's, Adidas, Puma, all these gigantic companies that all have business interests in Russia, they were like, okay, well, Russia's doing this thing. So what happens? Shut it down. You can't do business in Russia anymore. Nobody can do business in Russia anymore, right? Well, who's that affect? You think Putin gives a shit whether or not he can go to McDonald's? No. The Russian people, the everyday Russian people just trying to live their lives in their own chaotic world, right? Can't go to McDonald's anymore. Can't buy clothes anymore. No reason to go to a mall or any of the stores. All these stores are closed down. They basically shut down their economy over the actions of one man, right? Putin. Excuse me. I don't understand it. It's like, what is this? What are they doing? Like, just go after Putin. Get him, because it doesn't make sense to punish the entire Russian population over the actions of their president and the military, industrial complex of Russia. You know what I mean? But that's what they're doing. They're punishing millions and millions, tens of millions of people in Russia. Lives have been turned upside down. They don't have fuel anymore. They can't go to the store and buy food. Their ruble crashed. Their money, their currency is worth nothing, But I'll tell you, take a look at that. This is 30 days have passed, and in 30 days we saw two things. We saw executive powers in Canada, and they were allowed to seize the bank accounts and the money from the GoFundMe of all the people that were involved that they deemed a domestic terrorist. And now they shut down the economy and crashed the currency of Russia in an effort to, stop the war in Ukraine, which they don't really want to stop the war in Ukraine. They really want it to escalate. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to, all these sanctions and stuff are really meant to hurt Putin and piss Putin off so that Putin turns around and does something drastic. Because, you get some kind of false flag 9/11 event to happen at the hands of Russia, and the American people will jump on board. And then what I said earlier, all them money machines, all them printers just turn back on and go live, and they just start producing hundreds of billions of dollars a day that they can pump into a fake economy, and then they can funnel it to the business interests of all these giant corporations that are running here in America. All at the expense of what? Another country's entire population. It's crazy, man. All right, I'm gonna call it now. That's it for this broadcast. I thank you for tuning in. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. As I'm getting better here, I'm gonna jump back into trying to make a video almost every day. So check us out here on Hazoo Talks, and tell your friends and family about me. We'll get into some more stuff later, and we also have a Hazoo Built channel, which is where we do some of this woodworking and our construction jobs. We have some great time-lapse video of jobs that we work on a daily basis. So check us out over at Hazoo Built. And like I said, this is Hazoo Talks on this channel. Talk to you soon.